But 2 hours of panning for glacial gold? I'll take that. Alright, so I've got my concentrates here, and this is from 2 hours of panning. And at the end of each pan, I just throw what's left in the bottom of my pan into the bucket, and I take it home so I can clean it up carefully like we're getting ready to do. So step one is to get rid of these pebbles right here. And the way I'm going to do that is I've got a kitchen strainer right here. Before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and put in just a couple drops of jet dry to prevent the gold from floating. That's all we need. That was probably actually way too much, to be honest. So we may end up with a bubbly mess. But I'm just going to try to carefully splash this material down into the classifier without spilling any. And so you got the big racks. Bullseye. Repeat that process. Try not to let any larger pebbles over the sides of the screen there. Now, none of the gold that I'm looking for is going to be big enough to pass through the screen, but there's going to be garnets in here, so we'll see if we can find some garnets when we're done. Now, not everybody has access to a cleanup sluice, and so today we're going to do it without a cleanup sluice. I'm just going to pan it and show you the way I do it, and it's definitely not the easiest way, but it's the way that I prefer. So let's go ahead and get started panning that out. And I wouldn't advise you having this much black sand in your pan all at once. Maybe do like a couple tablespoons full at a time, but personally I don't bother with that. I just pan it all out at once, so it's kind of a slow process, and so I won't bore you with the whole thing. I'll do a couple of motions here. The first time I stratify, shake it back and forth like this, and do it really well because I want that gold, that initial sink to happen. I want to get as much of that gold in contact with the bottom of the pan surface as possible. And just pan it out a little bit at a time. It takes a while, but I feel like it's faster than the cleanup sluice. And there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, when you do it this way, you're going to lose a lot of gold. So what I'll do is I'll go back through it at the end and see how much gold I really lost. Which everybody loses some gold when they pan, but I can usually deal with a 98% capture rate. But we'll see how we do. Now you can see right there, gold is starting to work its way up to the surface here. So this is the part where I need to be a little more careful and stratify a little bit more. And I'm going to be watching as I'm panning to see if any gold is going to go over the end. So I need to slow myself down just a little bit. And I think there's another piece of gold popping up right there. Let's be a little bit more careful now. So I'm gonna shake my gold down and leave this riffle empty, okay? Because I'm gonna use that as kind of my visual check to see if gold's going over the edge. So I should be able to see. So as long as I've got green space, I can see the gold pretty well. So if there's gold going over the edge, I can see it because I can see the black sand going over the green. If all I see is black sand, there's no way to tell if there's gold going over the edge or not. So we want to see a little bit of green. So, and I'm just slowly washing this material off. And I see a piece of gold popping up right there. I'm going to stop and shake it back down. That gold is a lot more dense than the black sand, but it will kind of work its way up. Now, I'm almost down far enough where I can do my first tap over with the extreme shaker table method, as I call it. So we'll do that here shortly. There's still a ton of black sand left. So the method that I'm about to show you is a way I can get 80% of the gold out before I get to the bottom of this pile of black sand. Almost. If I start seeing a lot of gold, that's when I'm going to stop. See, I'm seeing gold popping up here in the corner. Seeing any gold trying to go over the edge, I'll just keep panning it down. Alright, that's probably enough. So here we go. This is the extreme shaker table method. So I'm going to bump on one side of the pan like this, and that's going to cause all the gold to shoot over to this side. So it's still going to be under the black sand, but all the gold will be on one side. And so I get about this much water in it, and I just bang on it just like this. And I do it several times, giving that gold all the opportunity it needs to make its way through that black sand all the way over to the one side. And so the less black sand you have, the easier this process is, but I'll do it repeatedly. So now I can tilt back and I should see some of the gold has already worked its way up. And I think I got a little too excited and did that way too early. So that didn't accomplish much of anything at all. I only got a few of the specks out. So yeah, I need to pan it down further. So just keep going, pan it through this heavy stuff. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and transfer to a larger bottom pan. See if I can get some more of this gold out. A little bit easier. Alright. black sand. Alright, now when a lot of that black gold is coming up through that black sand, shake it back down. Tap it up. Shake it back down. If I see some kind of over on the side, I can kind of push it all up into one spot. And I'm watching to try to minimize the amount of gold that goes back here, but I know I'm not going to get it all in the first pass, so I'm not too worried about it. We're not going to get close to it all in the first pass. And you can see quite a bit of gold up there towards the top. So I'm just gonna get us a nice little bit of it clean here, knowing that some has made it to the back, but I just want to suck up some clean gold. So we're trying to get out every speck today, so we're gonna have to take multiple passes. You can probably hear the wind chimes in the background. A storm is brewing. Alright, so there we go. As I'm tapping the pan, it's pushing the heavier stuff up to the top. I can take my snuffer, and there we go. Alright, so let's see, I really don't like panning with pans that have this ridge, but we're going to go ahead and do something a little different. I'm used to using my 10-inch Garrett pan for my cleanup panning. But you know what, we're gonna use my 14-inch. Just going to continue panning off black sand, watching for gold. I actually kind of like this. These riffles are a little bit deeper, and I can watch this green space right here and see if any gold goes over the edge, and then I can stop and shake it back down. Now I'm out of green space right here, so I can't see what's going on, so I'm going to shake it back down and go some more. Not seeing any gold. Oh, I think I just saw a piece of gold. I'm gonna go ahead and stop, and we're gonna roll it back again. Just do a quick swirl. Okay, so I see some gold over here, so tap it separate. Anytime I can get gold by itself, snuffer it up. So let's see here. Alright. You got Careless Whispers sneezing in the background. There's a few little pieces over here. I mean, I'd say we probably got 80% of the gold so far already, with a lot of black sand left to go through. That's quite a bit of black sand. Alright, so let's pan it down some more. Pan it down some more. Alright, we're going back to the 10-incher. Just feels more comfortable to me. Feels more comfortable. Alright, well, we're down to a more manageable amount of black sand. Okay. All right, we're in pretty good shape to use the shaker table method here with the 10-incher. So, like I said, we probably got most of it already. Let's see, how much more did we just pull out of there? Not much. Not much. There's another 4 or 5 colors right there. Alright. We're just going to pan it down the rest of the way now. Because I think I got 80% of it. Or actually, I think I got 98% of it. We'll find out at the end. There's usually a lot more left at the end than I was thinking. Oh, yeah, there's still gold in there. For sure. Let's just slide it back real quick. See what we see. Just a few little pieces. Nothing major. Alright. Now, I'm going to go over here and not use the riffles at all. Just watch that green space for gold. Pan it all the way down to the end. So this part is a little bit tedious. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up for you. Alright, now we're down to not very much black sand at all. So let's go ahead and just tilt it back and wash it back like that. Just see, I mean, there's a piece of gold right there. I don't know if y'all can see. Yeah, there's a piece of gold. I do think we got the vast majority of it though. There's another piece right there. I'm going to go ahead and put that up. And that's all I see right now. But we're going to go ahead and pan all the way down to the end, because sometimes there's just one or two that you just don't see. And we're almost down to the last little bit. Alright. It's going real slow, not in a hurry. But I'm watching that green space over here to make sure I don't see any pieces of gold going over the edge. So the very chunkiest pieces of black sand are at the bottom of this pile still. And maybe some tiny fragments of lead. But we're almost there to the very, very last. We're getting the smaller black sand particles off here. And we're just left with that little pile of larger black sand at the very bottom, and that's it. And we'll go ahead and stop. I think I see one or two more pieces. Let's go ahead and spin it back. And yeah, there's, I don't even think there's any. I don't think that's gold. Is that gold? Yeah, that's that little piece right there is gold. That is going to be it. Okay. Just pan off the last little bit. There might be one speck left in there. No, it's a little tiny piece of lead. So that's it. We got all that gold out. And there's going to be a tiny bit of black sand left in the snuffer bottle. So the next step is to dump this out into the pan and clean up that last little bit of black sand, dry it out, and weigh it up. And here we go. Got my snuffer right here ready to go. Probably should change out that water, huh? But this will be alright. Here we go. Here's what we got. Should be a little bit of black sand in there, but it should be all of our gold that we got in 2 hours of panning. Right in there. You can see that. So let's shake it down to one corner. That's what I do. Okay. And now I can easily pan out the black sand. And I'm going to snuffer up the black sand instead of the gold this time, leaving only the gold in the pan. So I'm going to get some black sand by itself, make sure there's no gold in that black sand, and then snuffer that up. Alright, we didn't snuffer up any gold. We got mostly black sand. And we got just a tiny bit of black sand left in there to deal with, but not much. So I can just gently wash back. There's one piece of gold there, made its way up. Okay, so up there at the top, that's essentially perfectly clean gold. That's as close to clean as you can probably hope to get. So we'll suck up all that black sand there, and right there, that's what we got in 2 hours of panning. So let's zoom in on it and take a closer look. Well, we definitely got a couple little lead fragments in there. But 2 hours of panning for glacial gold? I'll take that. Alright, next part is to dry it out and weigh it up. It might not even move the scale. And the zoom on my S24 Ultra is pretty good. It's pretty good. That's You can see the character on every one of those pieces of gold. That's beautiful stuff. Alright, there it is, all tapped into a little smile. So what I do is I just dump the water out real quick. If you do it slowly, some of your gold could float out. But yeah, when you do it nice and, oop, see that gold right there? Look at it, now it's floating. So good thing I didn't dump that out. So we're just gonna leave that water in there. I dry mine out the slow way, just by air. So I'm just gonna set this aside, let it dry out, and then we will be back to see if we can get a weight on it. Alright, here's my panning tailings, and I'm gonna go ahead and pan through these now and see if there's any gold that I missed in the first pass, and if I find anything, I'll show you what I found. So I'm just going through this last little bit of tailings really slowly, waiting to see a speck of yellow try to creep its way back into the green space here. So when I get a decent amount of black sand, I call this the 2-pile method. Get a decent amount of black sand that's already been checked. I know there's no gold in it. I just wash it out the back. Just wash it out the back. I could have used this exact method when I cleaned up my gold the first time around, but at least this way I get to show you another way to do it with a little bit larger bottom pan, just slowly washing it back. You'll see a lot of people do that. I prefer the smaller pan for cleanups just because, I don't know, it's what I'm used to. There we go. Now we got a nice big pile in the back here. Wash that out. This way we're really carefully looking through that entire last bit, because we want to check and see how much we lost in our tailings. So now, this pass, I'm really trying to make sure I get every speck. I expect to lose some gold in my first pass. We got plenty of green space to work with here. Well, we're not going to miss anything yellow. Okay. Wash that out. Shake it back. And we're almost done here. We ought to be seeing some yellow here soon. Because, as I said, I don't expect to get 100%. I feel like I'm pretty good because I've been doing this for a while. But sometimes I'm a little careless. We're almost there. Alright, let's go ahead and fan it back all the way. So we got plenty of space for that. I mean, I'm not really seeing gold. Or maybe I am. Maybe, was that a piece of gold right there? No. No, it was not a piece of gold. Oh, I see one piece of gold. I see one piece of gold right now. I see it right there. Okay, so we lost one piece of gold in our first pass, at least. But let's pan through the rest of this. I think I might see another one. No, that's not one. Okay. And you notice how, I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, But that gold hasn't moved. I've been doing this swirling here. Oh, it moved there. But, oh, man, sure did I just, it's floating. So there it is. It floated. It's off by itself now. I spoke too soon. I was like, oh, look, it doesn't even move. But it does. And it'll float. Crazy. All right. I don't want to suck it up with my snuffer. So I'm just going to go slow through this last little bit. I don't know if anything else is going to pop out, and I don't think it is. There, that piece is floating again. I don't think there's anything else. Gold is hydrophobic and it will float. Well, that's it. That's it. We lost 1 speck of gold in our first pass. And I am pretty impressed with that, personally. I'd say that's pretty good. Okay, I don't know if we're going to move the scale or not, but we're going to attempt it. We are going to attempt it. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. 0.022 grams. All right. Now, 0.02 grams might not sound like very much, but we got a couple dollars worth of gold in 2 hours of just playing in the creek.